submit.
Hey, Beth.
Okay, and I think we are recording. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
Ready. I guess I was multitasking. All right, so here we go with our presentation. Welcome, everyone. I hope you had a great 3-day weekend and you're all refreshed for this short week. So welcome to our February Computer Science Learning event. We're focusing on data and analysis today. And if you want to, share in the chat what brings you here and what is your role at your office or school. And in the meantime, while you're doing that, I would like to introduce myself. I am Janine Nakakura, a resource teacher with the State Computer Science team at OSID, and I'll let Faith introduce herself.
Hi, everybody. Faith Ishihara, also on the computer science team at OSIT. Thanks for joining us.
Okay. So I'd like to first let you know that we have an agenda for today, and it has all of the links and what we're doing for today contained within it. And so if Faith could put it into the chat for me, thank you. I appreciate it.
It's there.
I can't see the chat, so I will ask Faith to put things in the chat, or if you want to help us out, feel free to do so. So the link for the agenda is right here. And if you click on it, so this is a screenshot, but if you want the live agenda, here we go. This is what we're doing today. Here are all the links, and hopefully everything is here. And if not, I'll update it as necessary. Okay, so there we go. Back to our presentation. For today, we want to start off with, what do you notice about today's date? February 22nd, 2022. Okay, so put your answer in the chat. What do you notice about today's date?
Hey, Celeste says lots of twos.
Lots of
Joshua says it's Tuesday. Yes.
Tuesday,
Well,
TWO.
yeah, Tuesday is
Tuesday.
right. 2/22/22, David Bell.
Yeah, 220, all
Nice.
twos and zeros.
Yeah. So
Binary.
it is a historic day, and we're not going to get this series of 222. Ooh, Danny, yes, it was 222 twice on 2/22/22. I love it. Yeah, so we won't get this Tuesday again phenomena again for another 200 years. So this is really gotta celebrate today. It is Tuesday, often called TWOSDAY, and it also falls on a Tuesday, coincidentally. And this slide has some fun links with you can play with numbers and turning numbers into art and other kinds of things for your students and teachers to enjoy. So you can take a look at it after.
Thanks, Faith. All right, so thank you for all the great responses. Just in case you're watching the recording or you're just looking at the slides, I will add your responses to the afternoon chat responses, and you can see what some of the responses were from the morning. Oh, I hear something. Okay. Okay, so let's go on to this next slide. I'm going to ask you a question. Here it is. What is your favorite graph? And I got this from one of my colleagues a few years ago, John Constantino. We used to work together. And he said, what is your favorite graph? And I'm like, what? And he said his was the one on Mauna Kea, the one that looked at the carbon dioxide concentrations and how it's going up, and that kind of shows you that there's some climate change maybe happening. So then I thought about it. I'm like, oh, what is my favorite graph? I have lots of them, but I want to share one with you. Okay, so if you do have a favorite graph, put it into the chat. If you don't have one, maybe you'll find one after today. So here is my favorite graph right now at this moment. Total revenue generated by arcades correlates with computer science doctorates awarded in the United States. Okay, you can see like there's a really close match. So Faith, what do you think about this?
Well, we're gonna have to get ourselves a whole lot more arcades.
Yeah, because we want more computer science people out there, especially people with doctorates. So more arcades, right? More doctorates in computer science. Um,
Yeah.
so this is from this website called Spurious Correlations, and I'm a science person, so I know that cause and correlation are not always related. For example, the U.S. spending on space science and technology correlates with suicides by hanging, strangulation, and suffocation, or the number of people who drown by falling into a pool correlates with films Nicolas Cage appeared in, or per capita cheese consumption correlates with the number of people who died by becoming tangled in their bed sheets. You can see it right there. It correlates. Okay. So does that mean like the more cheese that's eaten, the more people who will become tangled in their bed sheets? What do you think?
Hey, Janine, we got
Maybe
some
not.
responses about favorite graphs. So Carrie said
Yes.
she likes line graphs and it shows progression clearly. And
Uh-huh.
David said bell curves. And well, David
Oh,
Bell
because
said
David
bell
Bell.
curves, of
I love
course.
that. Bell curves, David Bell, of course.
And Carrie says, "Oh, Celeste, any rainbow graph? Oh, you came to the right
Oh,
session. We
perfect.
have lots of rainbow graphs."
Perfect segue to Faith's favorite graph. Here we go.
And Carrie is these are fascinating statistics. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Janine's correlation graphs. So yeah,
Okay, so
so this is
here
my
we go.
my well, for this session is my favorite graph. Because students have done little skittle activities to see which color comes out more frequently. And the one on the left is red, and the one on the right says yellow. So I thought these were such interesting discussion points. And if you were to try it with your students, and what would the results come out at that point? And it would be interesting to talk about how many colors are in the Skittles and why are there no blue Skittles? Um, and besides what's the most common color? Are they ever equally distributed? And why or why not? And why are they called Skittles? So some fun things that you can do as along with the grapheme.
And don't forget to mention, I want to mention that Faith donated Skittles so that we will have Skittles in your prize pack if you're one of the winners in our random drawing at the end. So moving on to thank you, Faith. Moving on to the next slide. Okay, here's a joint favorite graph. Faith and I both like this graph because we are on the computer science team. Actually, there are many graphs in here. So this is the computer science dashboard for the Hawaii Department of Education. And it just has a lot of data in it from Infinite Campus related to the number of courses, enrollment, demographics for students, and longitudinal trends. So let's go to the Hawaii DOE dashboard, data dashboard. And if you're from a complex area, I want you to click on, actually, can you put the link in the chat, Faith? And then people can click on the complex area they are from. For example, Celeste. Celeste is in KMR, right? KMR. So we'll click on that. And all the data for KMR, Kamiki McKinley Roosevelt, will pop up. Okay, but it only goes to school year 1920. So it's a little old, but at least it's some data to show you the trends of what is happening with computer science in the state for your complex area. And then you can filter by program, like by courses, middle school course, CTE course, etc. Okay, now, I did not know this until we had a meeting this morning. After the morning session, we had a meeting with the data governance team, and I didn't know there were these tabs on the side. So you can click on these tabs on the side, and it will give you data from school year 2020 to 2021, which is last year. So a little more updated data. And current year enrollments, that's the other tab. You can see for all the different schools, what the enrollment was and the different courses. So this is also from 2020-21, updated last on June 24th, 2021. So just letting you know that that's there, and you can check out computer science data for your complex area. And while you're probably looking at that, you can also click on the second link, which is national data from code.org. So if you want to check out Hawaii, for example, you would click on Hawaii. And there's all kinds of data about Hawaii and computer science. And here we are, boom, that yellow line. We are near the top for high schools offering computer science by state, okay? So letting you know, there are 2 places you can look for lots of graphs and data about computer science. Okay, alrighty, so now I'm gonna change the direction a little bit, but it's still related to data, okay, and analysis. So first question is, how many of you have heard of the game Wordle? Or how many of you have played the game Wordle? Okay, in the chat. Or if you want to speak up too, feel free to just turn your mic on and speak up, because there aren't that many of us. Have you heard of Wordle? Have you played it? Okay, so let me give you a little background. It's this game, and you click on this, okay? Oh, here's the game from this morning. Okay, so we played this game this morning. We solved it in 4 tries. So you can only play once a day. So I can't play the same game again. I'm locked out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a custom Wordle that I created. And if you want to create your own, you can just go to the notes, and I have the link there. But we're going to do a custom Wordle. And the rules are very simple. You just type in a word, okay, 5-letter word, and it will tell you how many letters you have in the right place and how many letters are in the wrong place, but correct. Okay, so
while you type your word, Carrie said yes, love it. Joshua said my students play every day. We do it as a class. Terry, no. And Danny Addis, yep, play as often as I can. Oh, I didn't solve today's one.
Okay, so I'm going to put Danny's name there just because he has a 5-letter word. I do the random, like, just put a random word there. Okay, so I'm going to put Danny's word first, name first, and I'm going to enter. Oh, and we have 1 letter in the right place. Okay, so does anybody want to help me out and give me a second word? You have 6 tries, by the way, and you can only guess once a day. So what would the second one be? What could I guess? And I made this word up. So, okay, I'll give you a hint. It's somebody's name, 5-letter word.
Oh, Danny's guessing Faith.
Oh, let's try that. Faith. Ding, 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 ding. Ooh, what a great word. So we put it in 2. So you can make your own, copy this. Yeah, so
pretty nifty.
Yeah, I just found that today while reading a newsletter from Comments.
Oh, your students gonna love that one.
Yeah, so awesome. Okay, so that's custom Wordle. So let's go back to that slide. So why am I bringing this up? Because when you guess it correctly, it will either say yeah or wrong or whatever. But here's here's a sample of somebody who played 1 game. They guessed it right. So they have a streak of 1, maximum streak. And you can see they guessed it on 3 tries. Okay, and there's a the numbers here, and you can share it. So if you share it, you can share it on Twitter or Facebook, and it's very clever because you can share it without giving the answer. So you can see that this person guessed, 1 block in 1 letter correctly in the wrong place. Next try, 1 in the right place, 2 in the wrong place, and the 3rd try they got them all right. So I had to go look up, like, what does this 1243 mean? I didn't know what that meant. Do you know what that means? 12, 43, 38?
Yes.
What does that mean?
The Wordle resets every night at midnight, so that's how much time you have left until the next Wordle is ready to go.
Exactly. Okay, while I have you on, Danny, I recognize your voice, right? Is that you, Danny?
Yep.
Okay, well, Danny, what does this mean here? Because I had to look this up. What does Wordle 207 3/6 mean? I know this is the time, this is the date, it was on Twitter, but what does this 207 3-6 mean, or 3/6 mean?
I think the 207 is just the number of the Wordle.
Uh-huh.
So, and then 3 out of 6, because you have 6 attempts to get the word correct. So you made it on the third one. So you
Okay.
got it correct on the third out of 6 tries.
And by the way, this isn't me. I just copied it from somewhere. So 3 out of 6, and the person is on number 207. So yeah, it's which one you're doing. So you can see if your friend did number 207 or you're working on a different one. Okay, so next slide. Skip that one. So here are my trends. Okay, so I want to show you this because you can see that on February 16th I had a 100% win streak. So what do you think happened between February 16th and the 19th? If you look at my win percentage. I had 100% on February 16th. What happened between February 16th and February 19th? I only had 97%. What do you think happened?
You lost your win streak.
Yeah, I guessed one wrong. I only guessed one wrong out of all of my tries, and boom, there you go. So next time, this was on Sunday and Monday. You can see I restarted my streak, and you know, you can see that I guessed it when I guessed it on that day and this day. So anyway, why am I showing you this? Because Wordle, I copied this from somewhere, and there's a huge amount of information, drama packed into that little graph. Okay, and it's also on social media. That's how I didn't know about it until I saw someone's green tiles and yellow tiles. Like, what the heck is that? So I tried it, and then I got hooked. And it's so easy, right? And you can only do one a day. So it has a very graphically neat synopsis, okay? But here's another computer science connection. So there are 12,000 5-letter words in the English language. And the guy who created this, his name is Josh Wardle. You see Wardle. And he created this for his partner as, like, you know, a way to show his love for her. And so they found out that there were 12,000 5-letter words, and some of them were kind of obscure. So she went through that whole list, okay, and whittled them down to 2,500 because some people don't like words like rebus or taper because they're not familiar enough. So question, instead of manually going through 12,000 words, how else could you weed out obscure words or words that people might have trouble guessing? What do you think? How could you get through 12,000 words and whittle them down to 2,500 that are familiar to people? Anybody in the chat or want to speak up? Did you find it?
Well, you have to select words that you have to select words that have popular letters or ones that you can eliminate vowels. So, of course, I play Wordle every day. So, the first word I put in is adieu, A-D-I-E-U.
Every single time? Do you use that same word?
Every time.
Oh, wow.
And then my second word is storm, S-T-O-R-M. And usually after those two words, I'll have at least maybe 2 or 3 letters, maybe not in the correct spot or whatever, but I'll know at least probably 2 or 3 of the letters.
Okay,
and
so
then from then I can start eliminating words, because once you start to figure out what letters are in the word, then you can start looking at the other letters that are remaining and start figuring out like what could it possibly spell. So that's why after you put my name in, it was the A was in the right place, and then well, you gave us the hint that it was someone's name. So then I said, oh, Faith, because Faith also has A in the second position. So that's why I said, oh, punch in Faith, and then that was the answer. So.
Good thinking, because in Wordle we don't have names normally, so I thought I would give you that hint at least, right? So, but Danny, have you ever gotten any like you didn't get it in 6 tries, or you always have?
Wow. I get it just about every time. Once in a while I might go to like 5, but I've never had to go to 6.
Okay, you need to go to hard mode.
Yeah, Danny has figured out an algorithm in his head, like to get these solved.
By the way, they do have a hard mode, so maybe Danny might have to go to hard mode. But I have another challenge for you, Danny. But Danny just explained like how data analytics can help you. Like, what words are most common? Which letters are most used? Which one should I guess first, second? So I randomly choose a word to start with, but he chooses a certain word and he starts with that one every single time, right? And he's never failed. So that must be a good strategy. Okay, so here are some strategies. I'm not going to read them to you, but just in case you're wondering, data, you need data to figure out what's common and what shows up and so forth. Okay, so Danny, here's a challenge for you. I've been doing the Hawaiian Wordle. Oh my goodness. Okay, here's my dictionary that I've been using. I don't speak Hawaiian fluently. The reason why I'm bringing this up is a guy in Maui used open source code to adapt the English version into Hawaiian or Lelo Hawaii. And boy, it's challenging if you don't speak the language. So I'm trying to empathize with ELL learners. This is a great way to do it and a good way to learn Hawaiian also. So try out the Hawaiian version, people, if you want to learn some Hawaiian and have a challenge. And I always start with the word aloha in this one because I don't know too many 5-letter Hawaiian words. Here, let me just show you real quickly. So I always start with A-L-O-H-A. And then Mickey told us this morning that Okina counts as a consonant, so that takes up the space too. And then you got the long A and the short A, and so it's not as easy as English for me because I don't speak Olelo Hawaii fluently. Okay. So anyway, that's our Wordle connection and how it relates to data. But we want to understand graphs too. I think Carrie mentioned she likes line graphs. So I just want to go over this real quickly. It's a link, and it just kind of gives a simple definition of, at its most basic, a graph is a group of dots connected by lines. But we know that's not always true. But graphs are important because Google Maps uses, dots and lines to model the road network and give you directions to where you're going. Facebook friend networks are a graph where each person is a dot and the friendships between people are lines. And the internet is actually a giant graph too, where web pages are dots and the links between pages are lines. So, we can find relationships between things, and you can learn about nodes and vertices and edges. And here's that picture I had on the slide, a directed graph versus undirected. Can you see the difference between them? Undirected, directed. Yes? See the arrows? I'm a physics teacher, but those are vectors to me.
Yeah, I see Danny pointing in different directions, the arrows.
Okay, thanks for giving me because I can't see Danny pointing. I'll watch the recording and I'll see him, maybe. So, what if Google didn't use these arrows? Would you be able to get to your destination? Probably not, right? So there are different kinds of graphs, and you can look through that. But I want to go over this other one also. Khan Academy. Khan Academy has this really nice lesson. So if you want to do this with a bunch of people or assign it to students or do a lesson with students, you do finding patterns in data sets. And you look at trends, spot trends, like in 1960, women in India had 5.91 babies, per woman. And then in 2010, it was 2.6. So what do you notice about the trend for women in India from 1960 to 2010?
No, they're getting uglier.
Okay, can we put that in more like?
Oh wait, this is recorded. Sorry.
Yes, yeah.
Oh,
yes.
The trend is going down. The trend is
exactly.
Going down.
Okay, thank you. That's a better way of saying it. The trend is going down. And then if you look here, life expectancy, 55 years to 76.9 in the 2000s. What do you notice about that? The numbers are going. You're living longer, right?
Longer.
Yeah. So there's all these numbers and charts, and you can kind of go through this lesson or have them go through it on their own. But I just want to show you that as a quick way to, show data and have people look at trends and try to analyze. So we're almost like 6 minutes to the end. And so I just wanted to let you know that the reason we're doing this is that there are 5 core concepts in computer science. Data and analysis is one of the core concepts. So it's more than just coding. Here's a progression chart, and you can see some of the data and analysis standards that are covered through the grade bands. And we covered three of them today, and I'll have Faith explain the elementary one, and you can see our little code here so you can understand the grade bands and the concept and the standard. So Faith is going to explain this one to you.
Sure. Thanks, Janine. Yeah, for the younger students, maybe K to 2, we want to introduce them to graphs and help them become familiar with how they represent different kinds of information. So students can actually count the pieces of the colors, pieces of Skittles, and do a frequency graph. And the data they collect, they can chart it into different forms of visualization like bar graphs, pie charts, or pictographs.
Okay. So for middle school, here is the standard that we covered. Represent data using multiple encoding schemes. So for Wordle, for example, there's that social media little graph, and there's the graph that you get after you're done, and so forth. So there are different ways of showing data, and we want to make sure people can understand it too, with high-level representations, with digital displays of color. Okay, and then for high school, identify trends in a data set. So that's what we did. You can do it for social media interaction, shopping patterns, or just even, life expectancy like we just did. So I'm going to turn it over to Faith to go over the book that we are featuring for this session.
Sure. So yeah, each session we feature some book that's from our statewide ebook collection that's kind of related to the topic. So this one is Understanding Data Visualizations. It's probably for upper L or middle school students, but recognizing that data visualization is really all around us. It's in, like Janine was saying, social media. Pretty soon we'll have elections. The politicians are using it. Journalists. It's hung on your classroom walls. So this book helps students to understand which kinds of visualization might be appropriate for different types of information that you want to share. And it includes rules of thumb. So please, Janine will look at the next slide. This how you can access the ebook collection, and please check it out and borrow this or any other book that catches your fancy.
All right, it's store prize time. So today's easy. Whose name has most letters in common with TWO? Okay.
And I'm thinking that might be a good Terry Hulk. Oh, Terry.
Actually, you know what? We have
Yes,
so many Skittles. Everybody will get Skittles. I will mail some Skittles to you or put it on your desk. But yeah, we'll also have special an additional prize in the prize pack for those who have TW or O in their names. So thank you for participating today. And we would like, we have some data and analysis resources, by the way. Here you go. And we would like you to fill out our feedback form if you can, because we really do look at every single piece of feedback and we try to make each session better than the last one. So I'm going to get out of this and put the feedback form link into the chat real fast so that you can fill it out for us. We would be so grateful. And we thank you for your participation today. We appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule. And I'm going to stop the recording. So if you want to just chat after, we're going to hang around for a little while and talk stories. So I'm going to stop the recording. Stop. Okay.